As I guess this is welcome back to On the Grid Racing League, 'cause for some reason, whatever, that's easier than saying OTGRL. This is Season 2, Round 6 at Japan. We are here at the Suzuka circuit. Now, this is the third to last round, I believe, and then after this we visit Brazil and Las Vegas, and that is Season 2 done and dusted. I will try to do a bit more digging, as I was not expecting to do this solo. I found out when I woke up 30 minutes before the race, because, I'll backtrack. My name is Phoenix. I am your host and commentator this evening, and I found out I was doing this solo when I woke up at the righteous hour of 2:30 in the morning to do commentary. Sorry if I still sound a bit off. I'm still slightly under the weather. I mean, I've already done commentary. It's this week already sick with a co-commentator that was also sick. That was an experience. But back to this race, we've got running through the field as we wait for them to get their setups on and head out of the garage. Mindmaster in a McLaren, Puppy in a Aston Martin, Daniel in a Racing Bull, Turbo in an Alpine, the only one in a Merc, Waffles in a Ferrari, Ollie in a McLaren, Rye in a Merc, OTK in a Kick, TikTok Danny in a Red Bull, Radius in a Haas, and then MG also in a Alpine. As I think we want to go here. First person as we sit on board with, while I do some digging. And something about Suzuka is dirty air is tough to follow through while going through that very windy Sector 1, most appropriately named. You've got the first corner, which is named First Corner. Then you've got Snake, Anti-Banked Curve, Dunlop, and Dagenham. Oh no, Dagenham's right in the start of Sector 2, you can see. But you've got a lot of sweeping fast corners, so Sector 1 could be interesting for the start. But then, of course, you go up into Sector 2, the hairpin, spoon curve, and then down the back stretch, the 130R, Casino Triangle, and the last curve's the last curve. So we now do have Danny on his first flying lap to put his banker out this evening. See what he can pull off. Flying now through Dunlop. Using that curb doesn't actually go into the grass. Well done. Now blasting it down using that battery into Sector 2. Keeps it within the white lines. It looks like it got a bit hairy, but that could also be on my end because I think it's a UK-based lobby, and I'm in OCE. Anyway, coming around that hairpin, nicely done. Doesn't go too wide. Axes it, bolts onto that battery, flying it up to spoon curve. Uses literally every single bit of curbing he can, maximizes the track while also trying to use the least amount of track possible. That sounds a bit contradicting, but yeah, again, coming up into Casino Triangle, and now does it well, doesn't invalidate through the last curve, and then cross the line. Now provisional pole time will be a 1:27.876. We've got quite a few drivers. Oof, Puppy does run a bit deep there and does invalidate. Next person, we do have Turbo on a lap, so we'll go on with them. And what I said before is you want to maximize the track, use your curbs, but you also want to cover the littlest distance as possible, because littler the distance, less the time it's going to take you to cover the track. And here, especially in F1, even in the real world, tenths count, hundredths of thousands of a second count. So you want to find time anywhere you can. Now this track, I want to say, looks narrow, but I'm not entirely sure. The other Alpine that doesn't not always could have been giving a slipstream. I have no clue how that one worked. Now coming down that 130R, heading up into Casino Triangle. Doesn't invalidate coming through there. Now around the last curve, and we'll go faster with the 127.1, so quite a bit faster, as we do have quite a few drivers. Well, we do have still about half the drivers in the pits, but we do have some of them, well, about to float across the line. We've got Radius, I think, will be the next one to cross the line this evening. So we shall go on board as he comes around Casino Triangle and the last curve. And we'll go P3 for the time being with a 27.9. Almost a second faster. Almost a tenth of a second, sorry. Now the next person to come across the line will be Oki, coming through Casino Triangle and through the last curve. And we'll jump into P4. I'm going to have a quick look at the tyres. You have got Daniel deciding to go out on those medium compound tyres. Quite sure what that's about. I guess he must have not had a good run there, because he could be trying to save up and go again, but who knows, it doesn't look very... It wasn't a very fast time compared to what we've seen at the others set here this evening. As we do have Alpine now coming through the last curve. We'll grab a time, puts himself into P4 for the time being. I think the next person to cross the line is we've got Waffles coming around Spoon Curve and getting ready to head down the back stretch. Does run out really wide and does invalidate. So that's probably a straight into the pits. Chuck a fresh set of rubber on, top up on that fuel, and head out again. And so we now have quite a few drivers on their outlap. Whoa, not quite sure what goes on there. Yep, ducks straight into the pits. So he's coming in, we'll duck straight into the pits. Who else have we got? I think Puppy will be the next person to go out on a flying lap. Let's see if they can't invalidate. Coming down the, I want to say main straight, into the first corner, and Snake. It's called Snake. Oh, and the only gets a 5-second grid place penalty with a collision with Daniel. That is unfortunate. Didn't see where that was happening. But back, let's see if we can keep it going through Dunlop and down into Degner. Degner is where they did run deep last time. Oof. Bit there. Doesn't run it as deep. Oh, wait, never mind. Has invalidated again. So they're not having the best of nights. As who else is next to come across the line? It's Ryan. So we'll jump on board with Ryan and see what time he can set here tonight. So we're 8.5 minutes left to go in quality. Now coming down into the first corner, burning that battery. Not too much. Keeps it coming now through Snake. It's important to, well, use your curbs, wow, and not invalidate. Now coming, wait, through Snakes, does it quite well now, up through Dunlop, and getting ready to head into Sector 2 and Degner. Now, can he keep it within track limits? Yes, he can. Uses that curve very nicely. Now coming up into the hairpin, which is coincidentally called a hairpin, runs it perhaps a bit deep into the hairpin, burns that battery on the exit. You can also get more traction by doing that, and bolting it around to spoon curve. Well, Ollie Behrman had his little spin, little crash at this. I was about to say Chinese Grand Prix, but I mean the Japanese Grand Prix earlier this year in the real life Formula One. Now coming down the back stretch, coming through the 130R, up into Casino Triangle, although I can't really see a casino from the track, through the last curve, and he will put himself up to P4 for the time being with a 1:27.9. As who else is on a what lap we can follow that has not invalidated? You have Waffles out on a lap going through first corner, now through Snake. Oh, anti-banked curve. That's a weird corner name. If one can have weird corner names. Dunlop. And going down into Degner. That car stays out of the way. Can he get through Degner without invalidating? Yes, he can. Now coming up to the hairpin. Very nicely done. Now coming up into spoon curve. Burning a little bit of that battery, but also not burning too much because you do want to save a fair bit for heading down the back straight. And that is what he does. A bit wide there, but keeps within track limits. Now burning that battery down the back stretch along the 130R up into Casino Triangle and through the last curve, and will put himself up into P1. So our provisional pole setter with the 1:26.6. Not quite sure what happened to this here, but he has called it this evening. Could have been not quite entirely sure. Oh, Holly's invalidated. So we want to put on a new set of rubber. Now go down to Puffy, who's also on a flying lap. Now coming through anti-banked curve and through Dunlop. Now coming into Degner. Can he keep it within the lines this time? We will find out. Chucks that car again. Keeps it within track limits. So it is an improvement from last time. Does have that slow-moving Ferrari sitting there, but gets it done nonetheless. Up now through the hairpin, up flying, burning that a little bit of that battery on the exit up to spoon curve. Oof. I think the lagging is just on my end, or I'm starting to lose it. One of the two. Now burning that battery down the backstretch. Doesn't have a whole lot to play with, but I think we'll just have enough. Now coming through the 130R up into Casino Triangle, trying to save as much battery as possible, coming through the last corner, and we'll burn it down to the line. Has run out of deployment, but will go P2 for the time being. So he did well after the fact. Now Mindmaster now flying through up into Casino Triangle and around last curve. Where can he put his car? He's kept it within the white lines. He goes up into P7 for the time being, as Daniel is the only one to yet set a time here. Let's see, I think this person's either coming in or on a flying lap. We'll assume flying. Oh, never mind. Yep. How to go straight into the pits, just have a trip through the gravel. It's not surprising, as he would be on his lap. Barely any fuel. but we will see. Doesn't he drive straight through the chicane, which is an improvement? Oh, he's on a flying lap. Does he have enough fuel to get back to the pits, though? We'll go P5 for the time being with a 127.4 flat. We'll see if he can get around to the pits. Got my master coming in. He's just finished. Hope he's on an in-lap. Yep, cut straight through the chicane. I feel like that's a habit here. Who's next to come across the line on an outlap? I think it will be MB, so we will wait until they start their next lap. Oh, sorry, now coming through. Snake up through the anti-banked curve and up through Dunlop, keeping it within the white lines. That is always nice. Coming now up through Dagna. This is where I've seen a few people invalidate running it a bit too deep. Oh, someone's retired from the session. I think that was in a pit. Mindmaster's called it. Doesn't want to go out again. Happy with this time or doesn't think he can improve. Anyways, we come up into hairpin. What is going on? Never mind. What is going on? Has called it. Wasn't happy with his lap. What? Not sure what is going on there. As who is next to come across the line now? That's McLaren's just started. Got a Red Bull coming. Or just starting a lap. Not quite sure what happened there. Oh, as we've got will not make it back in time. So a few of these drivers are left it a bit too late. Daniel won't set a time here this evening. As we've got the cars trying to fight it out, some not happy with their laps, down on time, won't be able to improve. So we'll just wait for the results to filter in. Our turbo still tops the timing tables for the time being, and we will wait and see the final results. That's qualifying all done and dusted. Your final results being Turbo, Waffles, Turbo topping the timing sheets, Waffles, Ollie, and Puppy, Oki, Danny, the only one, RHVS, Radius, Mindmaster, MB, and Daniel, who didn't set a time here. So we now wait to load into the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, I'm not quite sure the weather at Japan. Hopefully we will have a nice sunny race. Oh, but that overcast does look a bit sketchy. So I guess we'll find out as we now wait for the drivers to get their setups on. Let's see if I can't find me some information. Driver standings. This is after Austria, I believe. We've had another round in between then. They haven't come out yet. We've got Cole sitting at the top of the driver standings on 78 points, followed by Turbo and Waffles. So if Turbo can catch up, because Cole isn't racing tonight, he has a good chance to close that 20-point gap quite significantly and even jump Cole in the standings. And in team standings, you've got Alpine topping it with 125 points to Merck, who's only on 102, and then a three-way tie for third, all on 87 points. So they're off away on their formation lap, and now let's put all this stuff up so it stays there for the race. Lobby restart, huh? Please don't. Yep, and with lobby restarting. That's simply lovely. So we will be back with migrating host. Oh, we're doing a new session. Well, anyway, I will figure out what chaos is going on, and then I will unmute and come back. And for the time being, as we do wait for that lobby to open, let's go to the showroom. And we can see F2 cars, it's Conesport new. And let's watch some Red Bull go around in circles. And I'm hoping someone can get me back in. A history on Suzuka. The Hyundai-owned racecourse has emerged as one of the world's most demanding and rewarding motorsport circuits, packing a mix of almost every type of corner into a remarkably small space. Drivers rate it high, mainly because it's one of the few circuits these days which still has challenges to throw at them. It has also gained recognition because it's the unusual figure of 8 layout which has spawned countless, I can't read that word, imitations. Various safety upgrades over the years have seen corners eased off and runoffs added, and the addition of the chicane and start-finish straight. However, there's no discussing that this remains an old-school circuit and a true test of driver and rider. Aside from the Formula 1 Grand Prix, major events include the Suzuka 10-hour endurance race for GT cars, the Suzuka 8 Hours, which remains one of the more important events for motorcycle manufacturers as an important cornerstone of the FIM Endurance World Championship. Little fun fact about Suzuka. And let's hope I have an invite. I can't actually see from the showroom. Oh, I have an invite. That's lovely. I did not see that come in, guys. My bad. Oh. Oh, I think it just killed the invite I had. Let's hope I can get back in quickly. Oh, I asked for an invite and I get an influx. Will my game... Oh, I have... Oh, I have two. I have two invites. That's lovely. Why does it say Illyria? I don't know what my game's doing. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, I am half awake. We will be back when we load in. Sorry for that brief. It took a while for us to go green. I say a while, it was about, let's see, it was 2 minutes. For some reason, 2 minutes felt like a complete and utter eternity, as we will go straight into the race as we wait for, I think, everyone's games to load in. We do have a fair few split across consoles, PC and PlayStation, with one person playing on EA, which I think is just another way of saying it. And we have been someone readied up instantly last time, so that's not as the skies are looking a lot sunnier this time around, as we now wait and get ready to load in to this Japanese Grand Prix take number 2 this evening. Well, this morning. Good evening. Oh. Have they really just readied up instantly again? Oh, I think, has the lobby broken again? No, we're on our formation lap. Migrating host. Oh my end. Please don't tell me we are redoing the lobby for a third time. Oh, for Jesus. As I will find out what the hell is going on. And we will wait for another lobby invite. Will this race actually happen? And it looks like we are going to do the race. It was a very strong... A poll was put out. 7 people voted to race. We might not... We might not have all the drivers with us. But that is okay, I guess we will do. And there we go, you've got the apology from the owner for us who have stayed up late. Isn't there someone else who was like 12 p.m. and then I woke up at 2:30 in the morning to get ready for this stream that started at 3. And I am living my own world and I'm trying not to taste colours. As we now wait for the lobby invite. as now we get ready to go back into the lobby, and while in the lobby, I will go on mute so everyone else doesn't hear my audio. So, unfortunately, we will be back momentarily as we load into the lobby for the third time. We'll be back, hopefully, for the formation lap of the Grand Prix. as we are loading in to the lobby again. Hopefully no one instantly readies up, because I know that people on Xbox do have a longer time to load in than others. From what I have been seeing, this is the 4th time we're loading into the lobby, I think. 3rd or 4th time, I can't remember. It's now almost 4 in the morning. I was not expecting it to be an hour by the time we get to the race, as we will now wait for the players to ready up. As we wait a few minutes before they ready up. I mean, I think this is an improvement from last time. I've also completely run out of material for Suzuka. I was not expecting it to take this long. I mean, there's a few different circles. The Grand Prix circuit, which is the layout we are running, it's 3.608 miles and 5.807 kilometers long. That is the current up-to-date track. As we now wait for him to load in, it's an improvement from last time though, so we might actually start the formation lap. As we now wait for them to patiently load in, as they're all like, can we start, can we go? Cola's, we're waiting for our drivers. I think we have lost a few in this long process of trying to get this race started. Dirty Air is going to be an interesting thing to watch out for the first few laps. I mean, what else? We have got we've got, let's see, a tyre strategy. I want to say the tyres, it's a bit tight, it's a very flowy track. So I feel like some drivers, if they are in control of their tyre wear, is going to be a lot higher. But I think some people might brave the one stop, but I do think we'll have most doing that two stop as we are now away on the formation lap. I will stay with P1 purely because when the race starts, I will have P1 to start with, and I've got all my data up, so it will jump back on for the race. That is one nice thing about having that formation lap, is I can grab all the data up, so as soon as the race starts, theoretically all the data should go back. Well, at least the track map should. As we now wait for them to go away on their formation lap, them actually behaving themselves on the formation lap, which for me is a new experience. So we now wait for them to come around as they're heading into sector 2 through Dagna up into that hairpin. So we're now actually approaching the end of their formation lap, everyone warming up their tyres. We now wait for the last few people to grid up. And so I'm trying to do TP things, TP things, and trying to organise a reserve driver. Anyway, we've got to turn our attention back to this league and this league only. And of course, I get, as we are now almost ready to go and racing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are out, and away we go at the Japanese Grand Prix. Good start, a lot of jostling off the line, per normal, coming in to corner 1. If someone goes wide, they keep it relatively clean. Coming now through Snake, we'll see what some people sending it 2 wide, keeps it very neat. Some people trying to go 3 wide. That's one way to get your commentator on edge at 4 a.m. in the morning. Holy, people are trading positions up and down. The field's sort of done quite well. Now coming all flying through Degner, something went flying. Carbon fibre going a bit everywhere there as the top 3 sort of have broken away from the rest. Coming through there, the Alpine going very wide, and Waffles right up the back of him. Turbo being an ever-present threat as the top 3 have broken away, as we're down to 9 drivers this evening, 27 laps of racing. As those 3 start to run away, you drop down. You've got basically a big group here, which isn't quite a DRS train because DRS is not enabled yet. I think will be enabled second lap from memory. People going fast and furious. We've had a relatively calm corner 1. We've had a relatively calm corner 1 and lap 1, as of course all those things do jostle around. Oh, they're very tight coming through here. The Ferrari looks to move, no, doesn't think about it, pulls out, heading through Snake and then up via anti-banking curve. And through Dunlop and heading into Sector 2 to go through Degner. Top 3 having seemingly broken away a little bit before we've got a Haas running wide, lots of carbon fibre going flying. Haas may have had an unlucky spin out as they're all coming now through the chicane. The Alpine doesn't run it deep this time. Waffles is still being a very ever-present threat in the mirror as we take a look at some of the information. Top 2 stayed where they are, a bit of jostling in positions for the top, which happened off the line. And then we've got, no one's obviously pitted. We've got everyone on a set of mediums except for Radius, who has opted to set on the hard compound tyre. See intervals, no penalties as of yet. We may take a look at Race Direct. We may take a break from the action later and look at Race Director. Oof, something happened there. Not quite sure if I'm seeing something. That's quite possible, as I am, well, half chugged a Red Bull. And I took some medication to, well, make me not so sick for a short period of time, but that and the Red Bull are slowly starting to wear off as we are heading on lap 3, and they've kept it very nice and clean and punchy, but good punchy. I want to say good punchy. As Waffles, I missed that, has taken the lead and is starting to run away from the rest of the pack. A bit of hoot, and that kick dropped like a stone. Not quite sure what happened there. Perhaps when I went a bit wide coming in through Dunlop and around Degner. Mindmaster's now up in P7, or was in P7 to start with, as I've got a nice little train coming through into Spoon Curve. I mean, some of them, they're getting very decent gaps, as well as now broken DRS range to Turbo for the time being. As I've said that, Turbo is burning that battery coming up. Already has a yellow fuel light, so maybe trying to under-fuel here. We'll have to keep an eye on that as they're coming into Casino Triangle and Spoon and the last corner. Turbo is the only one with a fuel light on for the time being. So also burns that battery to get away from Turbo, which will have DRS. Goes for the move on the inside. Does not quite get it done in time. Runs out of track as they head into Snake and anti-banked curve. Come on, I don't like that. Okay, why does the game gotta give such weird camera angles? Like, who wants this camera angle? Like, who? I want this angle. Or the helicopter. That's quite a nice one the game can give you. As now the cars are starting to spread out. You've got the McLaren of Puppy quite close. I'm going to say Ollie quite close to the back of Puppy. Going up into that hairpin. Can he keep that gap? No, I think that gap's dropped a bit now. But the cars all in a nice sort of little train with each other, with my master not quite in DRS range of Danny. Then he's got kind of the only to worry about. Then you've got the other two which might have had spin outs or similar situations earlier, which has broken away from the main pack. But Turbo is now right up the back of Waffles, and Waffles was an ever-present threat to Turbo for a while, and now Turbo is being an ever-present threat to Waffles. They're trading positions. I feel like they could trade positions like Pokemon cards and keep on going at it, as Turbo will have DRS down the main straight. Yep, that move is done. Easy as pie. Maybe a little bit of contact there coming into Spoon. Slight bit of lag. That could also just be obviously on my end, being I am from OCE at the righteous hour. And it being a righteous hour. I know I've said it before, at 4 a.m. currently, or 5 past. But we come up into Dunlop and into anti-banked curve as this fight for P1 is our closest and tightest battle for the time being. As now we're coming into hairpin, but now Waffles does have Puppy to worry about, who's right up at the back, going too wide, getting ready to head into Spoon Curve. This sounds like a recipe for disaster, as now there's a Aston in the mix, and now they've brought that McLaren into the mix as well. So this top group has now got very bunched up very, very quickly. So we've got to see where this goes. Coming down, of course, across the line, a nice little DRS train here. Obviously Turbo now with 3 people in his rear view mirrors to worry about. More likely the Ferrari and the Aston, with the McLaren still being there, but being slightly further back than the rest of them. So slightly probably right up the pack of Waffles, so they've each got each other to think about. As the top 4 are getting really punchy, then you've got the other 5 drivers doing their own thing, keeping it within the white lines, which is the important part. And there's a yellow, not quite sure why that is. Oh, there's a Haas. Haas ran wide. Oh, not having the best of nights, misses his second end plate. Perhaps rear wing damage as he has retired from the session and left the session. A bit of glitching there on his way out. Not quite sure what the rules are about retiring on track here as we are down to 8 drivers this evening. I believe that will just stay a yellow and won't cause a VSC or anything of the sorts because there was no one around him. That has now been cleared. We're back green in all of our sectors as we head in to the last curve, not for the last time, to start lap 7 out of 27. So we've got 20 laps of racing left here as, again, Turbo's the only one with that fuel light on. Puppy now having overtaken Waffles. Waffles still being there a bit behind, now really battling and trying to keep that McLaren away, as Puppy would now try and challenge for the lead. As they're now coming through Spoon Curve, Waffles is now caught up to the back of Barbie. And let's check on the rest of the field. Give the top 8, and now don't give them a break because they're side by side action. Always the best kind of action, keeping it obviously within the white lines, outside of track limits, keeping it clean and respectful racing, which is a very nice thing to have. As we've now got Waffles with the McLaren overtaking Waffles, so Waffles has dropped quite a bit from, I think, P1 all the way down into P5. But of course, we'll try and be right there as TikTok Danny gets the first time penalty. Let's take a quick look at Race Director because why not? We have got Oakley, who has made a pit stop, is on that hard compounds. We've got a bunch of track warnings, and Danny being the only one having picked up a total of 3 pit stops. Not quite sure why there was a pit stop there to change tyres. Who knows? Bold strategy. There's a caution. Oh, there's Puppy. No, Puppy dropped like a stone. A bit of wiggle and wobble coming up through there. Doesn't have a front end plate, which wouldn't be too grand around this circuit. Can't tell if he has rear wing damage or not, but he's not having the best of nights now. Now we're having to pit to change that front wing as the top 3 are starting to just run away as Turbo will be trying to break DRS range too early, and then Waffles trying to catch back up to Wally to try and get her moved on and get back up into the fight. I mean, it's calmed down for a bit now, but for a few laps we had a very interesting fight here this evening as we've got, just the Aston not having the best of nights, slipping and sliding everywhere. The Aston ducks straight into the pits to change that front wing because, does not, I think, miss the corner. 10-second time penalty for cutting the corner. That's definitely not his night, and we'll see what he does. Will he change his front wing or will he change it or call it? Called it quits in the pits. At least he made it back in to the pits as we're down to 7 drivers this evening. As we go back up to the top, Ollie trying to catch back up to Turbo, Waffles trying to catch up to the back, and then Mindmaster, who's now in P4. I was about to say P7. That's P4 for Mindmaster here this evening. We've lost 2 drivers, but the action is still a little bit of plenty. 2 drivers, then you have got Mindmaster and Ollie kinda near each other. But then you have got, basically, we'll go sit with this top group for the time being, because, well, they're doing interesting stuff. As puppy has now left the session, but that is all good. Did retire in the pits earlier this evening. As we've got the top 3 still being quite punchy, and on lap 10 coming around on the next lap, we'll jump on board with someone and go for what my mate likes to call it a hydration lap, because it is important to stay hydrated with water. Because, yes, even though I'm drinking a Red Bull, my excuse is it's some hour of the morning and a Red Bull keeps me awake enough to do commentary, but then I can go straight back to sleep after, because I gotta get up on time. I say on time, I have to get up at latest at like 9 a.m. I gotta leave the house, I gotta be physically at the bus stop for the 10:18 bus at the latest. Probably try and catch the bus before that, so if there's traffic, I don't miss my connecting bus. And if I miss that, I am stuffed, because that bus doesn't come all too often. As we are now coming around into lap number 11, we'll go on board with Ollie, and we will be back in a lap's time to look at the sights of Suzuka. As we are back and we're seeing those top 3 decide to pit, my master obviously jumping up into P1, but I think Ollie's still, or Turbo, no, Ollie's still holding provisional pole for the time being. Not quite sure if he got the move done. I was not paying attention. I was paying attention to how much Red Bull was left in my Red Bull can. Very important business, you see. As I think my master is in race lead, but Ollie is in net race lead. As what tyres is everyone on? As everyone in the bottom half has been ordered and pitted to those new hards, which will carry him to the end. As Mindmaster and Only are on 11, 12 lap old medium tyre compounds. Then we will see when they will lap, if they'll do this lap, and then I think they'll go back into where they were before they pitted. I mean, got one time penalty, changing positions, but that's also due to because some people have pitted, some people have not. And we'll go off board. My bad, I kind of forgot. As this top group is still very punchy and very fighty with each other. And now I'm giggling over something someone said to me. Oh, there's a yellow. Huh? I'm like, I swear only goes wide and misses the pit. Oh, has been disqualified for going the wrong way. So that's his night going. Gone and gone. So we're down to 6 drivers on the evening. My master has pitted, so goes back into P5. I think once P4 slightly earlier, as the top 3 are still fighting. As I am at the start of the stream where I'm starting to get tired, I wish I had a co-commentator so I could just yap. I mean, why not? Good yap about Ruckus. He isn't here. Daddy's in Twitch chat. So I can just yap about whatever I want. But I'm tired. The Red Bull's starting to wear off, even though I've just finished it. Kinda crazy. And apparently I've been told I can't keep copying him like this. Well, it's a bit late. It's not my fault. We both got sick at the same time, and I'd already had this gig lined up before I got sick. And to survive, you just chug Red Bull at 3 a.m. and hope and pray, as my voice is already starting to die as we are on lap 14 out of 27. As we go back to the action, sitting on board with P1, Ollie taking their but Turbo being the ever-present threat in the mirrors, as he will have DRS gets that move done easy as pie heading into the first corner. Coming up through the top 3, getting very punchy, DRS doing their own thing. So we will stay again. Perhaps watch P2 because that camera angle will give us a good shot of the next 3. We'll get ready and probably ready to load up and overtake on Turbo, coming into the DRS zone as they come through Degner and up into Hairpin. Oof, as only Jack has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Also our second track limits of this evening. Second track limit, we've had 2 DNFs and a disqualification. I really want to go to bed as we have well past the halfway point and we're getting ever so closer to 10 laps of racing remaining. Now, the quality of commentary is probably slowly going to die. I mean, the top group is still battling, but apart from the top group, not much else is going on. So we're going to have periods where I'm just trying to stay awake to finish this Grand Prix, as it's been 1.5 hours, I think, since I've started, and we've got 11 laps of racing to go due to, I think, 3 or 4 lobby resets. I can't remember. As we now watch him fighting, coming in through Dagner and up in to Hairpin. As we go back, Waffles very close up against Waffles. I'm already losing it, and I gotta go out. Well, technically this morning, or the lunchtime today. Anyway, back to the action. We going up into Hairpin yet again. Everyone very close, very bunched up together. We'll see if anyone tries to make a moon down spoon or will wait patiently for their turn going down the back straight or wait for their small chance in that DRS zone. As we back to the racing, as we're on lap 18, coming through Spoon Curve, swear they were just at Spoon Curve. There we go, they were just at Spoon Curve. That means it's probably been a lap, or I've just completely and utterly lost it. As we go to Ollie did get the move done on Turbo quite a while, and Turbo's got Waffles to worry about, as everyone I feel like has settled into their rhythm for the race this evening. Or this evening for the UK, that is. So come across the line to start lap 19. Sorry, solo comms, I might tend to lose it, go slightly crazy towards the end. Add in the factor, I am unwell. I am also won't back out of a comms gig very easily. Something has to be wrong for me to go, no, sorry. And it's an opportunity, I believe this is, let me count 1 second, quick calculation. This is the 8th league I will have done commentary for, which is 8th league. That is very impressive considering I started doing commentary halfway through February, and now I'm doing commentary for even UK leagues at the ripe old silly morning. And at this point in the morning, I debate if I go to sleep, but I kind of need my concentration as I'm going karting again this week. So I kind of need my brain power to make sure I can keep the car outside of the walls, like these guys are doing outside of the white lines. So we are now on lap 19, about to start lap 20, coming through last curve. And I feel like the top three will be a nice little fight until the end, which is always what you want to see. They've kept it clean. Unlike last week, apparently that was a bit chaotic, to say the least, as Ollie goes wide, almost loses that position back to Turbo, but they've traded positions I don't know how many times. As we'll take a look through the data yet again, because I've forgotten. Position trades. Ollie up 2, Turbo Waffles down 1, then my Muster the only up 3, then Danny up 2. Everyone's done one stop. Danny's on 11 lap old hard tyres with my Muster and the only one ECG. There's a yellow, not quite sure. There's a only has gone off the track. We will have to see what happened there. Doesn't have any damage, but that car isn't looking too happy either. Maybe there's some damage that we can't see. Slides off into it, does dislocate that tyre going into the hairpin as we are down to 5. We've lost 4 drivers this evening, 2 retirements, 1 dislocation of a tyre. Oh, and that's a full safety car. That's lovely, guys. As we're on lap 20 out of 27, we will probably we see the first pit. Everyone's reacting as such, going to switch tyre compounds, maybe mediums if they have another set. Not quite sure what allotment of tyres they would have chosen if they went balanced, harder or softer, as Turbo's jumping on a set of softs. I mean, there is about 6 laps to go under the safety car. The tyre wear won't be too bad. They'll try and warm it up, as the other 2 have opted for mediums. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out as we see what everyone else changes to. Yep, Danny's gone for a pair of softs. What does Mindmaster choose to pit to? A set of softs. So 3 out of the 5 have done softs, as we now wait for them to grid up underneath the safety car. And we will be back for that safety car restart, hopefully very soon. As they are going around yet again for the safety car restart, we will see a sprint, flat out sprint to the finish. As they're coming up through hairpin, perhaps the safety car probably, hopefully, will be in this lap. As we now wait for that notification to pop up. And I just told someone who DNF'd at the stream, did in fact see it, and he's like, oh god, I can't wait to see the replay. It's gonna be a funny one, and we'll probably get the notification safety car is in this lap, either when it starts A, speeding up, B, the little notification comes across, or C, it goes down the back straight. As we now wait for them, safety car is speeding up, but that could also just be me going slightly insane. Do we have that notification? No. Oh, safety car is in this lap. As we get ready, we're going through that and Ollie has stepped on the gas. Everyone's really now in this fight, with my master being the only one slightly back. But with also Danny does have that 3-second time penalty to worry about, all keeping it tight, coming through Snake and through anti-banked, no, through Snake now, sorry, then through anti-banked curve, and then through Dunlop, finishing off Sector 1 after the safety car restart. Everyone keeping it very close together, very respectful of each other, which is what you want to see. Now coming up through Danger. Okay, I've lost it all now. Up through into the hairpin. Do we see anyone do deep? Try and make a move on the inside. We don't. Everyone does a hairpin quite nicely. Coming up through, burning a bit of that battery, coming up into Spoon Curve, which kind of looks like a spoon on the track map. Kind of get where they're coming from. As they're getting ready to head down the main street. DRS won't be turned on, so they will have this lap, finishing this lap, now heading into Sector 3 through 130R up into Casino Triangle. But they'll have this lap, the next lap DRS will be enabled, so the next time they pass through that detection zone, they will get DRS on that main straight. But it'll be a nice sprint to the finish. Yep, DRS has now been enabled. No one, of course, will get DRS because the DRS wasn't enabled by the time they went through that detection zone. As we have got the top three again starting to break away from the rest of that field. Turbo all up in Waffle, but again, he is on those softer irons, which will be very fast and very grippy. Maybe, I'm not quite sure if the mediums will come into play. They might come into the play right at the end, but the softs might start to slowly die, and then the intermediates being the better, faster tyre compound. But we will have to wait and see as they're coming up into the hairpin, Everyone keeping it very tight together. Everyone it's going to be a nice little DRS train if they can all keep it within a second of each other by the time they go through the detection zone. It's going to be a very fun little DRS train as we go head through Spoon Curve and down the back straight. Now will we see Turbo keeping very close eye on Waffles? Will we see a move perhaps on the main straight as they will have DRS? We will wait and see. Coming through the last corner, last curve Oh, DRS activated here, DRS activated there, DRS activated everywhere except for Ollie in P1, who has managed to hold it for the time being. But Waffles got the jump on Turbo. No, wait, has stayed in front of Turbo, sorry, and is being trying to be right up the back of Ollie, trying to perhaps line up and move down the next DRS, or perhaps down the back straight. Gotta wait and see as we're on lap 25 out of 26. A nice little sprint. The top three kind of broken away with Mindmaster. Oh, getting the move done on Danny, but teetering at the edge of DRS. But is on those soft compounds to Turbo, so I don't think he has enough time to catch up and get P3. He will be trying to drive like a madman to obviously try and get P3. Nicely coming around spoon curve and down the back straight. Do we see any bold moves down the back straight? We've got to wait and see, as nope, they're trying to save Waffles, burning a bit of that battery to get a lot closer. Does also have Turbo, but has a bit more battery than Turbo heading into Casino Triangle and around the last curve. Well, will we see a change of lead down the main straight? Also getting DRS, burning that battery, but also Ollie burning that battery, running away. Won't be enough this time round. Go around, and now we're on the penultimate lap of racing as they head up through Snake, keeping it very tight. But I feel like this could be the podium positions unless something drastic happens on the final lap. Who knows? People can switch positions in the blink of an eye, and Mindmaster is now back behind Danny. Not quite sure what happened there, but Danny has that 3-second time penalty, so Mindmaster is probably thinking, got to keep within at least 4 seconds, 3 seconds of Danny to get that position on him. As they are going off a bit of a wiggle there by the Ferrari, coming again through the 200R. I missed the corner name because the track map was confusing me. But now 200R up into through spoon curve now. Waffles trying to keep it very close to the back. Now going down the back stretch. Want to keep it as close as humanly you can get through that detection zone. Well, as long as you're within a second. But they're coming down into Casino Triangle and the last curve. As we are now on the final lap of racing here, as they're coming down into the first corner for the last time. McLaren, sorry, Waffles gets the move done. I completely missed that. And will try and hold that position. Doesn't have a lot of battery compared to Wally, so perhaps will need to do some defending to keep P1 if they want to win this Grand Prix. Obviously, pending post-race penalties, but I don't think there will be any because this race will be much because of how nice this race has been. Carbon fiber goes flying, and I think the mediums are starting to come into play at this point as the source will start to fall off. Oh, Ollie, maybe a bit of a slide or something in the upwards hairpin situation. Just realised it's like an uphill hairpin coming through the 200R for the final time. Waffles trying to keep that lead. It's a very fluctuating gap as they come through spoon curve and down the back stretch, trying to save that battery for the final. Oof, whole side-by-side action here. Waffles gets the move done. Perhaps I will try and line up a move. We'll get DRS down the main straight, but it's not going to be enough as they come through Casino Triangle for the last time. And through the last curve for the last time. Off a slide at the finish. That's unlucky. But we will go through the final standings in a brief moment's time. The driver that communicating with online services. Race winner, Ollie. Fastest lap goes to Mindmaster, so does driver of the day and most overtakes, and cleanest driver goes to Waffles. As your final overall standings are Ollie, Waffles, Turbo being your top three, rounding out the rest of your places are Mindmaster and then Danny, who did have that 3-second penalty, and your DNFs being DNF of the only having dislocated his tire going through that chicane. No, that hairpin. 2 retirements, 1 on track, 1 in the pits, and then that disqualification of that kick-saber, and unfortunately that disqualification will send him to the back. Now, on behalf of On the Grid Racing League, my name's Phoenix. I've been your host and commentator this morning, this evening, wherever you are from, and I guess we'll see you all next time for the next round of racing at Brazil, if I am not mistaken.